Good afternoon. Good afternoon, and thank everyone for joining us here on the beautiful campus of Shippensburg University for this exciting new addition to our campus. And I dare, at the risk of somebody out, I want to recognize some of our many special guests that are gathered here today. And if you are able, please stand to be recognized. But I ask that everyone hold their applause until all guests have been recognized. President Tony Sedia is joining us here today. President Jody Harpster. My life partner and First Lady of Shippensburg University, Ms. Colleen Patterson. Senator Greg Rothman. Cumberland County Commissioner Gene Foshee. Shippensburg Mayor Kathy Coy. Township Supervisor Steve Olt. Steve. My friend and colleague, I've lost my place. Go figure. My friend and colleague of Jeff Coy, Mr. Steve Crawford, is here today. Chairman of the Trustees, Doug Harbach, and would all members of the Council of Trustees also please stand? Thank you. It's a great group. Chairman of the Board of the SU Foundation, Joel Zollinger. President and CEO of the Foundation, Leslie Clinton. And any members of the staff of the Foundation in attendance today. Steve Thomas, President of the Alumni Association, and members of the Alumni Association in attendance today. The members of any faculty and staff members in attendance today, please stand to be recognized. Thank you for coming today. Thank you very much. And thank you also to the many friends and colleagues of Jeff Coy joining us today for this momentous occasion. I also want to wish and express my special thanks to Joanne Coy. Working with the university administration and the Shippensburg University Foundation, Joanne helped to make this vision a reality. Thank you, Joanne, for your dedication to our community and your commitment to Shippensburg University and its efforts. Today, with the dedication of the University Archway, we begin a new tradition at SHIP, with deep ties to our legacy as a historical institution which proudly and distinctly serves as the regional flagship for higher education. University Archway serves as a symbolic gateway, memorializing the transition that all students make as they begin their journey of learning, growth, and transformation that they will undertake during their time at SHIP. Beyond its physical presence, the Archway holds profound significance for the university community. The Archway embodies tradition and heritage, standing as a testament to the rich history and legacy of Shippensburg University. It serves as a reminder of the countless individuals who have passed through the university's halls, leaving behind their mark and contributing to the collective identity of this great institution. The University Archway symbolizes opportunity and aspiration. As students walk beneath the arch, they are reminded of the vast possibilities that await them on SHIP's beautiful campus. It represents the beginning of a journey filled with intellectual exploration, personal growth, and the pursuit of knowledge and excellence. Moreover, the Archway fosters a sense of belonging within the university community. And much like today, the University Archway serves as a gathering point for students, faculty, alumni, and visitors alike, bringing together individuals from diverse backgrounds and diverse experiences under a common symbol of unity and campus pride. Upon their graduation, Shippensburg University students will once again pass through the Archway on a new journey, a journey that will take them beyond the bounds of campus and propel them into the world as Shippensburg University alumni, well prepared to be leaders in their fields of study, in their communities, and throughout the world. The Archway also represents an access point for individuals to expand their minds, individuals who seek opportunity and a better understanding of the world. It's only fitting that the University Archway also memorialize a man who prioritized access, who prioritized service and community throughout his life and career. I was not fortunate enough to meet Jeff Coy, but I work and live every day of my life among friends and colleagues who were directly and indirectly impacted by him. Jeff Coy's influence in our community and at the university is visible everywhere we look, and I am keenly aware of the kind of service-minded community member he was. Jeff spent an entire career increasing access to higher education through his service as a representative, a member on various boards and organizations, and as a member of our very own Council of Trustees. Jeff, along with his wife Joanne, have played a part in our community and the university we know and love. We are honored and humbled to immortalize Jeff Coy's service at the very place where we wish to inspire our students to begin their own journey of learning, leading to promising careers and a life of service in support of their own communities. At this time, please join me in welcoming Jeff's partner in life and in service, Joanne Coy.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for coming. I know some of you are here because there is a new addition to the campus on which you work, and others are here because you had a connection with Jeff. Whatever your reason for being here, I really appreciate that you did come. Thank you very much. I need to add something that I wasn't prepared to say, but I also want to thank, in addition to all of you for coming, I want to thank my two cousins, Lynn and Stacy, who are up here in the front row with me. They're my closest relatives, and they've stuck by me, and they've come to each good and bad event over the last several years. And I really appreciate that they're here again today, and especially because I was explaining to them what these two buildings were that we're sitting between. And Lynn pointed to the one behind me and said, "What is that building?" And I said, "Oh, that's Memorial Auditorium." And then this light bulb went on in my head, something that I had completely forgotten about, but in concert choir, that's where Jeff and I met, and that was happening in Memorial Auditorium. So thank you for pointing that out to me. This arch being dedicated to Jeff needed to happen for two different reasons. And I want to tell you some things about him and see if you can figure out what two things I realized follow his resume, if you will. Shippensburg Elementary School in the west end of town. Shippensburg Area Junior High School. Shippensburg Area Senior High School. Shippensburg State College. Shippensburg University. And I will mention that Jeff served on the Board of Trustees for both of those institutions, which were obviously the same institution, different names, and also served as chair of that Board of Trustees on two different occasions. And the purpose or role of the Board of Trustees is to oversee this educational institution. Pennsylvania State System of Higher Education. Again, Jeff served on that board and chaired it for a while as well. And again, its responsibility is to oversee all state-owned educational institutions. Pennsylvania State House of Representatives. During his 22 years serving in that body, Jeff was responsible for bringing a lot of money back to this campus. I'll never forget the day, those big phony checks. There was one they were thrilled to see. I think Tony was at $4 million for the Lourdes Performing Arts Center. That he was. What? A tad more than that. Oh, a tad more than that. Okay, I won't argue with that. Jeff advocated for the staff and the faculty during his tenure in the House, especially supporting them during contract negotiations. And his reason was he wanted this school to have the best, most qualified people working here, and knowing that he was seeing them get a good contract would help make that happen. He sponsored legislation over his years to improve education and the well-being of all students, from kindergarten, well, actually from preschool. I can remember something he was involved in there, from preschool to graduate school. It didn't matter the age level, it didn't matter the building, it didn't matter the district. If it was an educational institution, he wanted to be involved with helping. That is a snippet, but I think it's enough to tell you the two things that I heard as I went through that resume and why this arch and dedication to Jeff was needed. Number one, local. Jeff was born and raised in Shippensburg. His entire education was in Shippensburg. He never left Shippensburg. As I tell people, I married a townie and stayed. The second thing that was very obvious through that tip of the iceberg resume was education. And there are some people here today that worked with Jeff, or for Jeff, I should say, in his offices, and they will vouch for me on that his primary interest, his primary focus during his entire career was education. I reached out to one of those employees, Steve Crawford, who President Patterson mentioned, and I reached out to him to see if there was anything I had forgotten. This was months ago when I was putting together a resume for a different purpose. And this, I've already cleared this with Steve. He knows I'm going to quote him, his email reply, but it sums up to me why I think this is so necessary. And I quote, by the way, Steve, wave your hand so they know who I'm quoting. Okay. Steve said, many of these accomplishments did not come easy. Education at every level was always a top priority for Jeff. As time passes, the appreciation for his efforts can fade. That's unfortunate. It's a simple fact that careers in government service can benefit many who never know and appreciate the effort put forth. Maybe that's why it's called public service. I couldn't have said it better. Thank you, Steve, and thank you all.
Chair of the trustees at this point, which is a position Jeff filled on a couple of occasions, and can't tell you how proud I am to be in that same position since Jeff was a mentor. And one of the things that I had planned today was, at first I thought I'll just get up and talk a little bit about Jeff. I have so many things to say. Then I thought, well, I shouldn't do that because then I'll just babble on. I have so many things to say about Jeff. So last night I put down on paper just a little talk on one sheet. And I went in to reach for it today and realized that after our trustee meetings, I had gotten the agenda for today and not my speech. So now I am going to have to speak off the cuff, but I'll keep it brief because I really wanted to make sure Joanne and then also our next speaker have time to talk about Jeff. The one thing I'll get out of the way here now too, and Tony, I don't know if it's got to be in your remarks now, is Steve Crawford. I said it in my remarks. Everybody seems to want to bring up your name. So there, Steve, you've got your name brought up by me, too. I just want to say that, once in a while in your life, you run across a person that was unexpected in your life. And you learn things from that individual, things that take you to places you never thought you were going to go. I was blessed as a ship grad working at a radio station on the 4th floor in Shippensburg, that Jeff Coy got elected by 27 votes. We should remember that was quite an election. And he put his district office on the 3rd floor. So for a radio guy, young guy, it was easy for me to get downstairs and get some sound bites for my news stories. But then we got to be fast friends. And one day Jeff said, would you like to come work for me? I can hire somebody. And I said, well, I'm making $9,000 a year. He said, I'll give you 15. He said, sold. And then I went into public service, something very different from me. If you look around here, some things visible, some things invisible. Jeff Coy had his hand in them. Whether it's infrastructure, whether it's the aforementioned arts center, whether it's money just to come here to support the education. His hands were everywhere on this university. He bled red and blue. Other things that are out there right now are those that were touched by Jeff. You people in the crowd today. For example, just stand or raise your hands. How many of you out there today can say, my career at some point was influenced by something Jeff Coy did for me? How many of you can say that? Look at all those hands. And he did that because, it wasn't because he was doing some favor, it's because he saw the ability for someone to be a leader. You know, you can put people into different positions, and they can be the lead of something. But there's only a small percentage of people who have the gift of leadership. Jeff had the gift of leadership, and he knew that one of the things he could leave behind was nurturing other people into leadership. Leadership like Tony Sedia, you're going to hear from in a second. That type of leadership he recognized. So this honor, it's just bricks and mortar. But now, so many people who didn't know Jeff Coy will walk through this, they'll read the little plaque, and now they'll know that he was here, and he made a difference in the history of this school. I have a watch on today. This was a gift from Joanne. This is a Shippensburg University watch. So he's here with me, right on my body. And I know also that he's looking down right now at this. It's something that, it's not the type of thing he necessarily needs or wanted in his life, but he looks down now at this, but then he looks out here too, at all of the people that have come that love Jeff and wanted to be here. And that is why we're here today, and that is to say thank you, Jeff Coy, for all you did for this community and for this school, and the legacy that will go on for the many, many years to come. I now have the great opportunity to introduce, as I said, another person whose leadership, and I don't want to underestimate that word for him, the leadership he had here for so many years. Tony Sedia was the person who transformed the school in many ways. There's another reason he's here also, like the rest of us. He loved Jeff Coy. They were very, very close friends. And I want to turn the mic over now to Tony and let him tell you a little bit more about our friend Jeff.
Doug, Jeff just sent me a message. You're absent-minded as ever. You lose a lot of his papers through the years, and he knew that. President Patterson, Joanne, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for this opportunity to be with you this afternoon on this special day. For a number of us in the audience, it's been a labor of love for a few years, especially Joanne's. And I salute President Patterson, the trustees, the foundation, and the rest of the university for supporting the construction of this arch. It's interesting it's an arch, because those of you in the audience might remember your history. The arch was developed by the Romans. It allowed them to construct facilities the world had never seen. Later, it became a symbol of triumph. Now, the irony of this, ladies and gentlemen, is this: that Jeff Coy loved, at my expense, to tell jokes about my Roman heritage. I'm getting the last laugh today with the Roman arch. It's perfect. Jeff's sense of humor, for those of us who had the opportunity to share it with him, is legendary. But it was part of his overall persona, the stuff he was made of. He didn't come from a wealthy family. He didn't have much growing up. He worked hard. He came here, met Joanne, and went on to be very, very successful. He had an affinity of doing the right thing at the right time. I'll share one story with you. It was the spring of 1981. I had come to Harrisburg at the request of the governor to be one of 3 finalists for the presidency of then Shippensburg State College. I had the opportunity and the privilege to meet what was then called the State College and University Board, the SCUD Board, appropriately named, I guess, by some, chaired by the Secretary of Education. I was the 3rd and last candidate that went in for my interview, which they precisely timed to be 60 minutes in length. I sat down at the table after the usual greetings and handshakes. The next thing I know, the SCUD board broke out into an internecine war among themselves. They began arguing over what I could not understand, couldn't figure it out. Intermittently, they fired some questions at me. And then finally, they said, "Your interview is over." I responded back and said, "Not quite. If you think I flew here from Massachusetts not to ask any questions, you're wrong." So I asked my questions. I left the meeting and called Valerie right away from the hotel, and I said, I don't think we're going to be involved at Shippensburg much longer. I went to bed that night. It was about 1 a.m. The room phone rings. Lo and behold, it's Jeff Coy. He had an affinity for late phone calls. He said, "I have to see you right away. Meet me in the lounge." I'm in my pajamas. He said, "Get dressed. Come down. I got to talk to you." So I went downstairs, and we talked until about 2:10 or 2:30 in the morning. And what he was doing was trying to convince me to stay in the race for the presidency. And I was reluctant to give him an answer at that time because I was still somewhat uncertain about what I saw with the state SCUD board. But then he talked about the vision of the university system that he had had conversations with Governor Thornburgh. And he talked about the potential and the promise of what the people's colleges would have for the state of Pennsylvania. I accepted the job, and I accepted it primarily in good faith on what he was telling me. And you know what? He didn't lie. 2 weeks later, I had the privilege of meeting with Governor Thornburgh in his office, jackets off, just sitting for 2 hours talking public higher education. And Dick Thornburgh went on eloquently about what he wanted to see for the state college system. Jeff Coy was right on the button. Fast forward a number of years later. Jeff's involved then as a legislator, on the trustees, involved with the Board of Governors. He calls me late one night. It probably was around 1:30 in the morning. Said, "I just got out of the governor's mansion." I said, "What?" He said, "The budget's at an impasse. They don't have enough votes for the baseball field and football field in Philadelphia and the baseball field and the football field in Pittsburgh." "Oh." I said, "Too effing bad." Because there was no money in it for us. He said, "Hold on. I got good news." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Governor Ridge and I met privately. I guaranteed some votes. We're getting the Performing Arts Center. Baseball and football in Pittsburgh and Philadelphia will go ahead." That's how it happened. 1:30 in the morning. He didn't think it was his job. He thought it was his responsibility. He believed deeply in the notion of what this institution and others like it did for him, Joanne, and countless thousands of other students. President Patterson did a wonderful job of talking about what happens to human potential when it comes here. It's a raw material. It gets forged and shaped, and it winds up being something special. And today, that steel and iron has been forged. It's something special. It will forever recognize Jeff Coy's achievements. But more than that, ladies and gentlemen, and you can never forget this, it's his spirit. It's his unwavering personal commitment to what this institution means to all of us and students yet to come. The exciting part for Jeff, when he would do commencements here, when he would inaugurate presidents, when he would chair meetings, and in Harrisburg, the same thing with the Board of Governors. It was certainly about the people present and currently involved. But he never, ever lost sight of those who would be coming down the road. The sad part about it is, not enough Pennsylvanians recognize what a special gift they have in the people's colleges in this Commonwealth. The state system of higher education is not just special, it's very unique now around this country. And for those who would criticize it, for those who would challenge it, I would just say it has stood the test of time, and it will continue to open its gates and its archways to hundreds and thousands of more students, particularly here at this university, who want to go through the whole process of self-actualization and become something that they dream of and they want to be. And as we celebrate this afternoon, we celebrate not just Jeff Coy's legacy and what he meant to this institution, but we celebrate the purpose of this institution, far beyond the years of all of us. Jeff's memory is ingrained now. The arch is here. People will walk under it. They will read the plaque. There might be engagements and pinnings under this arch as time goes by. Who knows? But that's great. But more importantly, what will it result in? Better educated, better involved, more involved citizens in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. People who will help ensure the destiny of this great state. From all of us, Jeffrey, we say thank you. We love you, and I really do miss your jokes. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.